Nobody, or hardly anyone in Europe, has ever seen a living river. What you think you've seen something, but all you've seen is regulated rivers and river-like canals, I would say. But these living rivers, these vibrant, full of biodiversity lifelines, are still existing, somehow miraculously, on the Balkans. My name is Ulrich Eichelmann, or Uli Eichelmann. I'm head of the NGO RiverWatch, and I, together with others, coordinating the campaign to save the Balkan rivers. When I first saw the Balkan rivers, which is more than a decade ago, I was really amazed that rivers like this are still existing in Europe. And I have seen a lot of rivers all over the continent, even globally, but the Balkan rivers are something that is unbelievable that they're still existing. They're not only beautiful and diverse in terms of biodiversity, but they're also, it's amazing how different these rivers are. You have waterfalls, you have big, vast floodplain forests, you have wild rivers in the mountains or lowland rivers, and that is like a gift to the earth, I thought. And then when we had a closer look, we realized that almost all of these river networks are at risk, are endangered, to be dammed or diverted. We found out that there's more than 3,500 hydropower projects in the pipeline to destroy these rivers. If we would allow this to happen, we would lose all those rivers, we would lose a tremendous biodiversity, and we would lose the blue heart of Europe. And for me personally, that is a challenge and to save these rivers. But at the same time, I think, these rivers have survived our decades in the West Europe, our decades of destruction. And with our today's knowledge, we should act differently. We should save these rivers for us and the future generations, and then seeing the same old mechanisms that destroyed large parts of our continent in the past taking place again in the 21st century while we would know better. That is crazy to see on the one side. And on the other side, it's together with the people we work together with. It's a tremendous challenge for us, and it's like it motivates us to save these rivers. You don't have these opportunities often in a lifetime, that you can save nature to such an extent. And for me, the driving question is always, is there something we don't want to destroy in our continent? Is there something we want to save and keep for us and for future generations? And therefore we're doing this campaign together with scientists, with artists, with musicians, with sport people, with local communities, with NGOs, and that is also very beautiful and motivating for me to see, actually, that there's so much passion in the Balkans. It's so much passion to keep this nature alive, and they're dedicated to their homeland rivers and their homeland natures much more than our society in the Western Central Europe. I think that most of us in Germany, Austria, Western world have long lost the relationship to nature. We only know nature from a distance, marketing perspectives, but we don't care in nature. They can sell us everything. It's ecologically valuable. But on the Balkans, I like the people, they stand up for their nature, they stand up for the rivers, they block construction sites, physically. They just don't only sign petitions, they go there and block it. And that is, for me, something that Western Central Europe should look at. That is an advantage, that's a role model for us, and that drives the perspective towards the Balkans in a different directions, because a lot of people in my home place, I live in Vienna, think Balkans is something okay, but not so good, bad story. But in the end, the Balkans this story about the rivers on the Balkans is about the story of the beauty. The Balkans have something that we have long lost in Europe and elsewhere, and that's wonderful to have it. And they are ready to fight for us also, because when we keep this nature alive, it's not only for the people who live there, it's actually also for us. We can go there. We go to the Neretva, we can go to the Vjosa, we can go to Drina, we can go to Una, to Moracha, all these rivers in the future, if we are successful, and experience what a living river is. And that is something you can only do on the Balkans. Nobody, or hardly anyone in Europe, has ever seen a living river. What you think you've seen something, but all you've seen is regulated rivers and river-like canals, I would say. But these living rivers, these vibrant, full of biodiversity lifelines, are still existing, somehow miraculously, on the Balkans. And we are fighting with this Blue Heart team, together with scientists, artists, lawyers, locals, NGOs, to keep this Blue Heart beating.